Carolina Panthers fans, I have been sitting here staring at our 2026 schedule, and honestly, the reality of how we defended our division title is starting to set in. Something just dropped regarding our road to repeating that could completely change the outlook for Dave Canales and this squad. It is wild to think about the gauntlet we have ahead against the NFC North after how we barely scraped by last year. The more I dig into these matchups, the harder it is to ignore the pressure mounting on our guys. Smash that like button, subscribe, and drop your city below. Let's get into it. The Carolina Panthers have officially ended our long playoff drought, securing an NFC South title with an 8-9 record that marks our first postseason berth since 2017. As Carolina Panthers fans, we have endured years of rebuilding since the glory days of the 2015 Super Bowl run, but head coach Dave Canales has finally stabilized this team by leveraging a superior 3-1 divisional record to edge out Tampa Bay and Atlanta in a razor-thin tiebreaker. Getting here was a grind, as we had to sweep the Falcons while maintaining consistency against the Buccaneers to reclaim the division crown for the first time since our championship era. This season feels like a genuine turning point for a franchise that struggled to find its identity under center, but after finishing 8-9, we are finally back in the tournament. The relief across the fan base is palpable because we were tired of being the league laughingstock, and watching this squad fight through adversity to earn a playoff spot validates the hard work Canales instilled during his tenure. And honestly, looking ahead, our schedule is brutal. We face a gauntlet starting with the Detroit Lions, followed by pivotal matchups against Tampa Bay, Green Bay, Minnesota, New Orleans, and a season finale against Atlanta. The truth is, our road struggles under Canales have been well documented, so these 6 conference clashes will dictate whether we can build on this momentum. We are facing elite opponents like Kevin O'Connell's Vikings and Kellen Moore's Saints, meaning our 3-3 divisional history cannot be repeated if we want to survive. The bottom line here is that the foundation is set, but as we look toward next season, the pressure is on to prove this division title was not just a fluke of a sub-500 record. Keep pounding. The truth is, this playoff appearance was not built overnight, but rather through the grueling necessity of overcoming a lackluster offensive identity and a defense that struggled with depth during the 2024 campaign. When Dave Canales arrived, he inherited a roster with significant salary cap constraints and a lingering injury history that sidelined key starters for a combined 42 games over 2 seasons. We finally saw the front office commit to a culture shift, opting for high-percentage passing schemes that helped Bryce Young reduce his turnover rate by 30% compared to his rookie year. This mirrors the trajectory of the 2013 squad, where consistency in play calling ultimately bridged the gap to success. Behind closed doors, the coaching staff knows that winning a weak division at 8-9 is merely a starting point, not a destination. They are likely worried that the margin for error remains razor-thin given our current roster depth, which is why the front office has been so aggressive in scouting for secondary reinforcements. They realize that relying on tiebreakers and last-second heroics against teams like Atlanta is unsustainable for long-term championship aspirations. Coaches are focused on minimizing the road fatigue that plagued us under Canales, specifically looking to improve that 5-12 mark away from Charlotte. If we want to move from a sub-500 division winner to a legitimate contender, the philosophy must shift toward controlling the line of scrimmage rather than simply managing game flow. The front office understands that public perception is fueled by our recent playoff drought, but they are playing a long game to ensure this resurgence is not a fluke. As Carolina Panthers fans, we must recognize that while we are celebrating this title, the hard work of building a genuine powerhouse is only just beginning. Keep pounding. The truth is, we are staring down a pivotal crossroads because the NFC South is no longer a cakewalk, and our path to back-to-back division titles requires a total shift in our identity. This matters right now because relying on an 8-win season won't cut it again, and the rest of the conference has clearly adjusted to Dave Canales and his scheme. We have to address our roster depth immediately because our cap situation is tightening, forcing us to move on from aging veterans to get younger and faster across the defensive secondary. This change in our depth chart will be tested early and often during our brutal stretch of games against the NFC North. We have to find ways to steal road wins in Green Bay and Minnesota if we want to secure a higher seed, while finally proving we can take down Kellen Moore and the Saints in New Orleans. If we drop those toss-up games against the Vikings or Lions, we are essentially handing our division crown over to Kevin Stefanski and the Falcons. Now, here is the thing that keeps me up at night, because our sweeps of the Falcons and our success against Tampa Bay last year were built on narrow margins that are incredibly difficult to repeat. We effectively painted a target on our backs by winning the division with a sub-500 record, meaning every rival will be bringing their absolute best to beat us this year. If we cannot establish a dominant home field advantage in Charlotte and fix our road woes under Canales, our playoff window is going to slam shut before we even reach the postseason. We have to keep pounding and prove that our 2025 campaign was not just a lucky fluke, but the start of a genuine competitive era for this team. And here's where it gets interesting, because our path back to the playoffs hinges entirely on navigating that brutal 6-game NFC gauntlet. The upside of this scheduling is undeniable. If we can prove ourselves against tough NFC North contenders like the Lions or Vikings, it legitimizes our status as true division winners rather than just beneficiaries of a weak South. Successfully sweeping divisional rivals like the Saints and Falcons again would demonstrate that Dave Canales has truly shifted the culture of this team toward dominance. However, the massive risk is evident. Our road record under Canales is abysmal, and facing high-octane offenses like the Packers at Lambeau or the Bears on a Sunday night stage could easily spiral into a lost season if we continue to struggle away from Charlotte. Analysts across the league are already questioning whether our 2025 campaign was a statistical anomaly, with many pundits predicting we will regress while the Falcons under Kevin Stefanski or the Bucs capitalize on our tough schedule. Other teams clearly view our defense as vulnerable, especially given our recent history of dropping games at the Big Easy. The way I see it, the pressure is squarely on Bryce Young to stop being a game manager and finally dictate the outcome of these high-stakes matchups. While the media loves to doubt our trajectory because of that 8-9 record, I believe this team is hungrier than ever to prove that our division title was no fluke. We have the personnel to surprise the league, but we must finally flip the script on our road woes to sustain this momentum. It is time to execute against these heavyweights and show everyone that the Panthers are legitimate contenders again. Keep pounding. The bottom line here is that clinching the NFC South title and ending our long playoff drought signals a massive shift in the direction of this franchise under Dave Canales. We are moving away from the rebuild era and finally establishing a winning culture that we have desperately craved since 2015. As Carolina Panthers fans, we should feel optimistic but grounded, because while the record was modest, the grit we showed in tight division games suggests this team has the mental toughness to compete against anyone. We are no longer the team that rolls over late in the season, and that development alone provides a foundation for sustained success over the next several years. If we can improve our road performance and maintain our dominance over the Falcons and Buccaneers, there is absolutely no reason we cannot secure back-to-back playoff berths for the first time in over a decade. The truth is that our schedule against the rugged NFC North will serve as the ultimate litmus test for whether we are genuine contenders or just division winners by default. Every single matchup against teams like the Lions, Packers, and Vikings forces our roster to level up, which is exactly what we need to transform into a legitimate force. I want to hear from you all on this specific topic today. Which of the 6 critical NFC games mentioned do you believe will be the most difficult test for Bryce Young and the offense this season? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, do not forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. Keep pounding. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay tuned for more exclusive NFL updates, breaking news, and expert analysis covering everything happening across the entire league.